As the first humans to ever venture out this far into the frontier.
Too fast! Sensitive point identity.
Get out!
I thought we were both goners.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Gamer Show. I'm Operation DX, and welcome to episode 25 of my Planet Explorers version 0.72 Let's Play. So even though version 0.75 did release, and the Steam version is out, and all that good stuff, and it's got some new goodies and some new additions to the game, we're still going to continue playing in 0.72, as I don't want to break my save games and all that stuff, because I have read on the forums that some of the save game stuff has broken for some people, and I'm kind of not 100% sure if for some people it's working and some people it isn't, but it seems like it would universally not be working, so we'll continue through this version of the game until we bring it to its conclusion. Well, we finally have arrived to the big episodes where we're going to be working on our colony. I know that a lot of you have been waiting for this to happen in this Let's Play, and we are here. There is just a couple of very small things we have to do in the beginning of this episode to finish off building some of the colony buildings. We need some sand for some glass. And I did state in the previous episode that we should have landed on the beach to grab some sand, and I should have done that. I may have been able to streamline things a little bit better than what we're doing here now. So we're just going to land here at our previous spot where we were grabbing some petrol early on in the game, and we're just going to mine a little bit of sand and get some glass and stuff. And then we'll be able to build all the colony buildings, and we'll start working on our colony. Now, because I did decide to play the game in a very particular kind of way throughout this Let's Play series, not fast traveling and gathering resources along the way, is really where this is going to play a part in this stage of the game, where we have collected a lot of resources. We didn't fast travel. We did, mine a bunch of stuff, and those were very necessary things for this very moment. Now, some of you may not have agreed that I showed that part during this Let's Play, but I just kind of want to show it off. I think it's important to show those kind of things through the Let's Play. It's part of the game, and now it's kind of gonna show its rewards. This part shouldn't be too crazy, though, because we have our gold shovel, and as you can see, each scoop is getting me between 30 and 45 resources, and that is a ton. And as I expressed in the previous episode, the sand, each piece of glass requires 30 units of sand, and it's like I said, kind of crazy because it's the one resource that requires just kind of a lot of resources to build that one thing. Throughout this Let's Play series, I have actually been getting some requests to show the editor in this game in a bit more detail, because I have not really gone into detail too much. I did show it early on in the beginning of the game, like building a very minimal thing and the sword and that sort of thing. I did not show the construction of my vehicles. I didn't show like a lot of that kind of stuff, and it does get pretty in-depth, and my plan was to kind of do a separate video from this Let's Play series to kind of show those things. So I'm going to try to sneak it in here somewhere between one of these episodes to kind of just show off the editor in a little more depth, maybe explain some things and how it works. Now that the game is released on Steam and more people are probably going to be playing it, this is probably something you're going to want to be aware of. Well, you're probably wondering about the edit you just witnessed here in the series, and this is actually the very first time through the entire series that the game actually crashed. So I had to cut this out and splice this part together because the game crashed, sadly. But it's not something you experience too often in this game, but it does happen in this version, 0.72. I don't know how much 0.75 has been streamlined and stuff, but yeah, every once in a while you do get a CTD. So again, glass is another one of those kind of items in this game that bother me a little bit because they don't stack in your inventory, and it just takes up a ton of space in your inventory, and I kind of don't understand that. Again, some of the items, I don't understand why almost all the items don't stack in your inventory. I mean, I can understand like pieces of gear like wheels and equipment and that sort of thing, but things like glass or something you may use a lot of, I have no idea why that stuff doesn't stack, so it just bothers me a little bit. Anyway, now that we do have a little bit of glass in our inventory, we can start constructing some of the colony buildings, and that's pretty much what I am doing right now. So we constructed the main core building, and now I just constructed the power plant, and we are ready to start building stuff. So let's go ahead and head off here. Oops, looks like the crash caused an additional problem. And it looks like Rawl is no longer getting inside of my craft. And I told you that this was probably going to happen. And this is another thing bothers me a little bit here. So Rawl is going to start just kind of warping next to our ship here. And pretty much just kind of showing up as we move along. And it's just kind of unfortunate. Now, I don't know if this has been worked out in the new version, 0.75. If it has, that would be spectacular. But there you can see Rawl just popping out of thin air again. What they should have done is maybe teleported her into the chair if she couldn't get in here. But now I feel that this is going to be like this for the rest of our playtime, which is quite sad. Because, well, before, I mean, I've never noticed Rawl actually getting into the seat. I was pretty happy during this Let's Play that I was doing that. I was like, oh, that's probably how it was intended. But no, no, no. Anyway, now we're just kind of scouring the area for a location to set up our base. Like I said, I'm going to set it up Central Plains near a lot of the locations we visited in the beginning of the game. And I just like this area because there's not a lot of obstruction. So my choice for locations of colony would probably be like the desert or this plains area or some flat land. And since we haven't visited the desert part yet in the game for like the story and stuff, we're not going to go do that yet. So Central Plains is a nice place to set up. The creatures aren't too hostile, and we can pretty much control everything here. I think it's a nice place to set up. We visited these places in the beginning of the game, and obviously the open area makes it easier to build. But now we are in build mode, and we're going to get started here. So I usually always start off by setting up a foundation of some kind. So one of the resources you're probably going to have a crap ton is marble. So we're going to use marble as our base for our colony. Once you start building stuff in this game, you can really start to appreciate the dynamic world that you're in here and the varied terrain. It's not like your typical voxel-based game where a lot of the terrain is flat and really edgy or blocky. Everything is nice and smooth and rounded and stuff. So, you know, you kind of get this. So you can see the platform here is kind of like it's just going over and above the land, and we're going to have to, like, if we want to make it look good, we're probably going to have to put legs on our thing here, or we're going to have to fake it or cover it so that you can't tell that it's just kind of floating here in midair. The only thing I think is missing here is something we started to see in some of the other games like Starforge and 7 Days to Die, which is the material structure failure. So if you put too many blocks of one kind, they kind of start to fail and stuff. And that's something I really like to see in these newer voxel games, and it would be awesome if they added that to this game. However, even though I'm extremely impressed with Planet Explorers as far as this structure of the game, I actually just started playing the EverQuest Next Alpha, and oh my gosh, that is even more impressive than this building system. I cannot believe how insane it is in that game. And of course, I really, really want to bring a video out about that game very, very soon on this channel. However, I'm having a serious crash to desktop problem with EverQuest Next right now. And it's a very, very big problem. I have two computers that I can play these on. So my other computer, for whatever reason, with very similar hardware, is behaving a little bit better, so I may have to switch my recording software onto that one. What's interesting is that computer is a less powerful computer, and it's actually running EverQuest Next at a more acceptable level, so I don't quite understand what's going on there. But anyway, I'll dig deeper into that whole thing when I actually do make a video of EverQuest Next. But here you can see there's actually a little bit of a malfunction with the building tools. Every once in a while you'll see like I'm building with some bigger size blocks, and it kind of doesn't go onto the surface and kind of like goes inside of the other block, and it's a little frustrating because the building tools in this game do malfunction a little bit. However, again, this is a earlier build of the game than what's available right now, the 0.75. So some of these things may have been corrected. I have not had a chance to dig into it because my time has been completely focused on this Let's Play and my other X Rebirth Let's Play, and it eats up a good chunk of my time. Okay, so I don't have any really predetermined idea of what exactly this is going to look like, so you're going to have to bear with me for a second here. My idea for this first building is kind of going to be like maybe a standard looking brick kind of town hall kind of thing. This is going to be the central building where the main colony hub is going to be located and where I'm going to place the power plant. Once you place down your colony core and your power plant, the base shield goes up, and it's supposed to protect your colony from hostile creatures and creatures getting there and attacking your colony building and stuff, because it becomes a big target once you get that stuff. Unfortunately, the base shield in this version of the game is not functioning as intended from what I understand it. It basically doesn't do anything. It doesn't keep anything out, and it doesn't keep anything away. Now, I can understand maybe the bigger creatures being able to collapse your shield, because there is an option to upgrade your shield a couple of different levels to make it stronger. But again, some of the stuff is probably not implemented yet and still needs to be worked on. It was my understanding that an earlier version, the collision stuff was working and it was keeping animals out of your colony area, but for now, it kind of doesn't. So animals will just kind of come in here and they'll attack the colony. So as soon as I can, I'm gonna have to build some sort of defenses that will shoot the incoming animals to stop them from attacking stuff, because not only will they attack your colony core, but they'll also attack the blocks that you've created, and they can destroy the blocks that you've created. So if you have any interest in preserving your stuff, you definitely want to protect that with weapons. Okay, so here again, we're going to start seeing some malfunctions in the building tool, and this is something I really hope that gets optimized soon. So I think what's happening here is the game sees that I have a limited amount of wood in my inventory. And even though I have plenty of wood to actually build the wall I'm trying to build here, the game is saying, no, you don't, so I'm not going to do it. So every once in a while, when I try to place large sections of the wall, the game is not going to place it. And that's kind of something that, like, I hope also kind of gets streamlined. Now, I don't know if it's trying to, like, calculate from the larger size blocks, or if it's just trying to calculate the surface area or whatever, but it definitely doesn't do what I want to do, because what I'm building here actually should essentially take just a couple of seconds here. We can, just put up the walls and drag it up here, as you see I'm doing. And right now it's going smoothly, but as my supply of wood goes down, it's going to start failing more and more, because I don't have a ton of wood. I wanted to make this look somewhat interesting, I don't know, but I have a lot more of some other resources, but I don't want to make it all just that one marble color. I like having things look a little more dynamic when I build things. You just in Minecraft, you don't just use the same block to build your house or whatever. You want to build it in multiple different colors and give it some, interesting details and stuff, and I like to do that too. I don't know how crazy I'm going to get with the colony stuff in Planet Explorers, but when I'm building stuff and I'm not recording the video, I do tend to give things more than a single pass. I may end up rebuilding something, 3 or 4 times before I'm really happy with it. And, you start off very simple like this. You build, a basic base structure, and you line out the way it's going to look on the exterior, and you just build up the walls, and then maybe you'll add additional rooms and stuff later, and you put more stuff to it. Like it's just like a small process. Like it doesn't just happen all in one swipe kind of thing for me. I don't know, because I like to spend some time with this kind of stuff, because I like to be creative. It's also not just about being creative too. It's about making things look like they're supposed to be there. It's not just this eyesore blight on the land that's just like, oh God, look at that, it's terrible. It's just part of the process, I guess. I don't know. That's just me. I'm very, very picky when it comes to these kind of things, I guess. On top of all these other things, though, you're only going to be able to build something as good as the tools are going to allow. Obviously, if you only have blocks to work with, it's going to be blocky and you have no choice. There's nothing else you're going to be able to do to it. That's why I'm like freaking out about EverQuest Next, because the creation tools are far superior than what I've ever seen in any of these kind of games, including this game, Planet Explorers. Yes, we do have a bunch of shapes here in the build mode. As you can see on the left side of the screen, there are lots of different shapes we can use to try to create things, but it's just simply not as powerful as it is right now from what I'm seeing in EverQuest Next. I know I'm bringing that up again, but the building tools, even though relatively simple, they're extremely powerful. Again, I apologize. It may be a little frustrating watching me try to build this thing as the build tools constantly keep failing me. And even though I do have all the resources I need to fill all of this part of the building in, the build mode absolutely refuses to let me. I explained that earlier, but I apologize if you find it frustrating. The only option is to go out and mine some wood, and that's just going to slow things down a little bit. I like to get the first part of this built before the end of this episode, so I'm going to just kind of switch materials here, switch back over to the dirt, which essentially turns into brick, and that'll work for the roof. And that'll give us a nice couple of different colors here. So the main body of the building structure is wood, and then the top and bottom are made of brick. And then I may do some kind of interesting design in there later. I don't know. But for now, once I close this roof, it's going to get kind of weird. You're going to notice the color's going to... Oh, it already is. We're already in kind of weird mode. If you notice, like, it looks a little darker on the outside. It's because we're actually constructing the building from within inside the building right now. And I talked a little bit about the weird lighting in this game. So we're kind of getting that like faked cave lighting thing going on right now, even though we're like in the middle of the day and we're looking in the outside. We're kind of in the perspective of our character, so that's why we're getting the kind of this weird, awkward, dark kind of lit area thing going on here. All right. Back inside here. Now we're going to kind of do a few cuts, and I'm going to wrap things up. This episode is going to be a little longer than my standard 15-minute kind of episode, because I just want to finish the first part of this, and then we'll probably put some glass panels in it. Just want to kind of determine where the front of this building is going to be. I think this will be appropriate. So I'm going to go back into build mode and unattach the camera, which is something I absolutely love that you can do in this game. So when you go into build mode, you can unattach your camera from your character and you can float around and do stuff. You've noticed I've been doing that. But that is actually a really, really great thing to be able to do. And that's some things I haven't seen in other games too, is like being able to unattach the camera. That's huge. It's very powerful. Instead of having your character fly in midair like you do in Minecraft, like where you want to build some epic structure, but you have to kind of cheat to do it in creative mode or whatever. In this, you can just unattach your camera and build stuff. And I think this is the best way to kind of go about it. You don't have to worry about where your character's located and you're floating around and stuff. Like that's just always kind of bothered me a little bit. I mean, I guess it'd be fine if like you had an excuse, like you have this jetpack or whatever, and you're doing that kind of thing. But I don't know, it just kind of makes sense to be able to unattach the camera from your character. And way to go, guys, that developed this game, because I think that's great, absolutely great. All right, so to wrap things up for this episode, I'm going to just put in the glass here, and as you notice, the glass is not stacking. I want it to stack, because it takes up so much space in your inventory. Like, this is like one of those kind of items that can eat up your inventory quickly, especially if you want to have... I like to have a lot of glass in my inventory, because like I like to use a lot of glass in my structures and building and stuff, so... Yeah. Now, there is some kind of unfortunate things in this build mode, too. Like, the doors don't properly fit the doorways and stuff. That is something that desperately needs to be fixed. We'll probably see that a little bit later on, too. Now, I don't know where I'm going to stop building the colony and start continuing the story, but I do want to get a good chunk of stuff. I'd like to get the garden started and all that, but anyway, that's for another episode. That's going to wrap things up for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, and take care.